Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of TechCondo. Really appreciate you for being here live and direct. My name is Petra Verbruggen, and I will be your host for today, TechCondo style, every Saturday at 7 p.m. Central European Time. And what we do with this show is that we want you to have an awesome community of people that are like-minded and want to wow their audience, and that's exactly what we stand for. We do that with ATEM software, with audio devices, but also with vMix, and that's where this show comes into play. Is that today we're gonna really use vMix to basically rebuild the show, the TechCondo show, because basically after a while things get a little bit bloated, and occasionally you need to redo some steps to make certain that it is good to go. This particular year is actually another reason why we're doing that, is that the old computer that I'm using it at the moment on is nearing, well, let's say end of life. It is doing it, it's working. However, very much occasionally I do see a red bar popping up that the CPU is a little bit overloaded. Now, that being said, vMix is really great with the GPU. However, and I didn't see any dropouts. However, yeah, it will happen sooner or later. So it's time to get this computer behind me to become the main machine. And that's not going to be tomorrow. It's not going to be today. However, I want to start preparing it because after the summer, or during the summer, I actually have to say is that I'm going to do the switch. So I will take maybe 2 weeks off or so, something like that. And then I'll just switch the show, make sure that everything is working. However, how cool would it be that you are part of the show so that you know how it is built, so that you can learn from it and do whatever you like to do with it. Now, that is what we're going to talk about today. However, I'm not all by myself. Like I said, every Saturday at 7 p.m. and there's a nice amount of people active here today. We see, of course, MT, who's always at the start of the show. Really appreciate you for being here. DJ Ware is also in the house. Very cool to see you. I imagine that this is related to the cool music. Yep, that is cool music indeed. Gerard is also all the way from Stuttgart, also in Germany, like also MT is, of course. Let me see, a lot of other additional people. I see also Raoul. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to you as well. Appreciate you for being here on TV channel. Good evening, all. Looks like it's a vMix evening. Indeed, we're going to talk vMix today. And Kevin is also in the house. He is mentioning that, yeah, it's time for TechCondo. Indeed, that is the case. Kevin says, I think MT just sits on Petra's channel all day waiting for it to go live. It must be something like that indeed. And welcome from the Windy City. Bill is also in the house. Yeah, the reason why it's a windy city, it's basically a lot of wind. I had the privilege to be in Chicago once, and yeah, the name is perfectly fitting what I experienced back then. As always, to get the lights on before the show. Well, I thought it would be cool to do it a little bit differently today. It was quite easy to do. So just turn it off like so, and welcome everybody. Just wanted to do something differently. No, they were not late. There was just a bit of a tryout. Stanley is in the house. Welcome. Really appreciate you. I mean, I want to, have a good starting of the day. All right. About starting of the day, let me just also talk to you a little bit about my situation here in the studio, because it is a little bit of a mess at the moment. Now, that being said, if I'm using my phone in the neighborhood of the microphone, you will maybe hear some issues. So I'll try to avoid it, but I cannot guarantee it at all. So let's flip to this right there, and let's show you who is in the studio today. That is Kermit right there. He is sleeping, but Scooter is in the living room, and he is with my dad, so he's really having a blast. Of course, last week we were talking about the 19-inch rack right here. I actually added this rack on the audio interface. However, I decided not to switch it on today. What I did decide to do was to be a little bit creative. So this is my mobile air conditioning unit, and this goes all the way to my bedroom. That's somewhere in the back of this hallway. And this is the only way of getting that done, unfortunately, in my condo. Hence, TechCondo, right? So, a little bit of creativity there for you. All right, so let's start to talk about what we're going to do today. Okay, so you might have noticed that I have vMix here in the back of my here. And what we're going to do is that we will be doing the following. We will be building the show. We will be using the vMix one that I have here as well. Just going to show you what it looks like today. So this is the vMix show that I have in front of me. As you can see, I have a plethora of different inputs that you can see right here, and a lot of outputs as well, some audio interfaces, that kind of stuff. However, things get bloated over time, and because of that, occasionally I just start. It's like, hey, it's spring or summer. We need to, get things going again. So that's what I wanted to do today with you together. And the way that we're going to do that is that I can easily just export the whole project here and put it there. However, that is not the point of this exercise. The point is to start from a clean slate and work from there. This computer will replace the computer that's in front of me somewhere during the summer months, and let's get going. So what I've done is that I have a TeamViewer running on that system right there, and I will be showing to you what that looks like. I will have a bit of an issue seeing your comments throughout this episode, so please be aware of that. I will be taking some time off occasionally just to talk to you. I will actually just start from scratch and just really stop vMix, and I will be opening it once we are there. All right, so now let's go to the display right there and show you what it looks like. So this is the all right, this is the vMix setup that you have right there. What I'll do is that I will also create a quick a quick overlay of myself so that you can see me as well. Not that that is so important, but what the heck. So let's add myself there. Let's start to zoom out a little bit. A little bit too far. Start to crop it a little bit on this side, crop it on this side a little bit right there, and then just drag me to, let's say, what makes sense? This side. I think that's the side that you do not really need today. Okay, so let's get things started. So let's start with opening up a vMix from the Windows 11 startup utility, and after a few seconds it will be starting up. I have installed 2531. I don't think it's the latest and greatest, but it's certainly very much updated. And this is basically what it looks like. So without myself, of course, here, this what you see right there, that's typically not there, of course. But what you see here is you have your preview on the left-hand side. You've got your program on the right-hand side. For some reason, vMix have chosen to have green as the program. Typically, what you see is that is red, and the yellow one on the left-hand side is typically green, but I'm not going to change that. I am so used to it at the moment that I'm okay with that. Below that, you see a lot of different categories. These are marked by color, and we will be setting those categories in just a bit. And below that, you see the first two inputs. Now, as you can see, they're blank. There are no inputs at all. So there's nothing that goes into the program at all. And on the right-hand side, you see the master. That's the audio that you are listening to. And then you've got the audio bus A and audio bus B. But you can actually have multiple audio buses at your disposal. Why would you want to do that? Very good question. I think that if you need, for example, your audio divided between what you are recording and what is live, for example, that would be a reason. Another reason would be to have maybe a separate commenter on another audio track to explain something in Spanish, and somebody else in English, and somebody else in German, or whatever language that you would like. And that is the reason why that is there. Now let's go back, and so that you have A and B, but you can go all the way until, I believe, 8 on top of my head. We could definitely look into it, but looking at the time, I also just want to focus on the things that really are needed, and then we can always expand upon that as well. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to utilize my setup right here to as a placeholder to start to work on the TechCondo setup, so that you are aware that this is what we're basically gonna build. But I'm gonna tell you why I'm doing some things. Just for the sake of it, let's have a quick verification if you guys are on board and you know what we're gonna do, and then let's get things organized. Let me see if I can find you guys. There you There you go. There you are. Oh, we have some comments, so let's do that first. On TV channel, we have just invested in WinWet HY6050 HD vMix panel, which allows for PTZ control up to 4 cameras, just like we are doing, going to have to set up. I'm really interested indeed what it is and how it works. We've changed our normal broadcast switcher colors. Otherwise, the difference between our ATEM and vMix screens, I understand that 100% there. It's just no matter what you're used to. I'm so used to getting it in the standards, but yeah, we can do that definitely. And I'm gonna look at that panel right after this show, because I am very much interested in it. All right, let's go back to this, and let's start with, the first thing that you need to do is, of course, you need to bring in, well, the main camera. This is right there. Now, I am bringing in the camera a little bit differently than a typical person would do, and that is that I'm not bringing it in via an HDMI cable or an SDI cable. No, I am actually using NDI. So what I've done is that I have my main camera, which is the Sony a6100 with a very, very nice lens on it. That is connected to a Bird Dog Mini, and that is then converting it into NDI, and that is what you see here. So basically, I am not using any connections directly to the project. Now, that will change a little bit in the future, because unlike what I'm doing right now, is that I'm directly connecting the Sony camera to the Bird Dog NDI encoder. That will change moving forward, because I will be using my smart video hub, I think. I'm still not 100% sure about it, but my idea is that maybe I'm going to remove that from the 19-inch rack and then just use that to have it connected here in the studio, so that I can use it both as an NDI source, but also to connect it to a ATEM switcher for demo purposes. That would be really cool, I believe. So that would be one of the reasons to change it a little bit. On top of that, I also want to have this screen behind me to modify, to change according to what I'm doing. So now I'm showing a computer screen, but it might also be that I want to show, for example, the web presenter or the cloud pod, for example. So that those are one of the reasons. All right. We're talking way too much. So let's start with adding an input. So as I said, NDI, so it's quite easy to find it. It's here. If you press add input on the below end, you can go to the 5th tab right here. It will automatically search for all NDI devices on the network. At the moment, they're not so much, to be honest, but we can always make it more. So let's click on this one. And what we're going to do is that we're going to put it on number 1. Why? Because it's NDI. Now you immediately see, and I hope that you cannot hear that. I think not. That it's also having audio. This is audio from the camera itself, and I'm not interested in that at all. So basically what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just remove the whole audio like so. Gone with the wind. I don't care about that. We're going to do the NDI source a little bit differently. It might be that it's not 100%. No, it's not. So you see a little bit of delay, but that's because there's also a team viewer in between. And basically this is that. So that is really the cool part of the way that this is working, is that I can actually hook up the same camera to both the current vMix setup and the new one that we're just creating, which I really like that flexibility that I have right there. Now, I don't really like the name. It states NDI desk cam HDMI. Well, doesn't make sense to me. Just let's, what I did, sorry, is I clicked this cogwheel right here. I clicked on that, and then I'm going to change it to main camera because it is my main camera, right? So this is the new name, and I'm gonna say change, and basically that is perfect right there. So main camera right there. Excellent. Well, now it's becoming a little bit wonky, but that's gonna be okay. There you go. Anyway, so that being said, that part is now here. Now I want to add some other additional things, right? Because the main camera is not everything that I want. I also want to add, for example, audio. Now, I'm not going to add this audio, but I'm going to add the audio that I have on the system. You will not see anything hopping up like so, but know that it's there. And this is a Go XLR setup. So I have here the Go XLR, the full setup, and on that computer I have the Go XLR Mini. So I'm going to use that as a starting point. So I'm going to say audio input, and I'm going to select the broadcast stream mix on a TC Helicon Go XLR Mini. And I'm going to mute myself on the headphones. Very important, because otherwise you will hear yourself at a delay, and that really doesn't sound that great. So I don't want to have that, but I want to have that on the second one right there. Now, you don't see anything happening at the moment, just like I said, but this is going to be the studio mic. That's the name that I'm going to give it. Studio mic. Right there. Right there. Bam. All right, so this is going to be your studio mic. That one, I'll just typically put it on 80% or so at a starting point, and let's assume that it's working. Now, what you also can do is that you note that you can choose between the master, audio bus A, and audio bus B. I typically just keep it as is, as only the master. However, in some cases, for example, if you want to talk to a guest, a remote guest, you might want to change that to also include the B or A. So those are possibilities right there for you. Let me see. Looking back at my current display, so I added this main shot right here. I added my studio mic right there. And there are multiple NDI sources that I don't have access to at the moment, so I don't really think that I need that at the moment. Let's start with something as small as possible, but still having basically the same functionality as I have right now. I do see here, for example, the pip. That is very interesting to add. I also think that it's really cool to see the main PC. So let's start with the main PC, because that's really an easy one to do. Actually, I am going to use that to flip to this screen. The way that you do that is, again, add input. Yep. And then say NDI. It's a little bit delayed, I see, in my place, but here you go. Local desktop capture. That's what we're going to do. And then it is display 1, because I only have one display connected. And I'm just going to add that one right there. And boom. Right there, you see I have not only myself, but also the screen that you're actually also looking at. Now you do see a little bit of a wanky setup right there, but know that on the video behind me, it's perfectly fluid. It's just a matter of TeamViewer not having enough bandwidth at the moment, which is a bit of a bummer, but it is what it is. So that is that one right there. So now let's go ahead and look a little bit first. So it says desktop capture, and I'm gonna change that to let's just say main PC. There you go. There you go. And once I've done that, I think that I will start with adding some graphics and some videos, etc. But before I do that, let's check very quickly if there are any questions. So let's go this route, or comments. That can also be the case. And then a lot of people have joined in the meantime. Welcome everybody. Hey Jordan, welcome my friends. How are you? All the way from Canada. On TV channel. It is a great, but it's a great bit of kit. Nice to have hardware panel. We have an iPad app, vMix control panel, which is nice, but still easy to make errors. Definitely the case. So I am a strongly supporter of having physical buttons during a production. I totally 100% understand that. So that's cool. Mike is also in the house. He says, I am curious on why you seem to be leaning more towards ATEM hardware solutions over vMix these days. Thank you. Fantastic question, Mike. Let me verify if there are any questions. I will definitely talk about that in just a bit. MT says, I'm using the SuperJoy, which is also very good. I actually own that myself as well. But it would be nice to have the switcher together with the control panel. Yes. MT says, maybe you could use AnyDesk, less processing usage than TeamViewer. Yeah, maybe I have to look at that at a later stage. And Jordan is doing great. Awesome. Let's go back to the question of Mike, because I think that is a fair question. So why am I moving towards ATEM hardware solutions instead of vMix these days? Fantastic question. So there are actually two use cases for both, right? In my opinion, in my show, TechCondo, I will definitely still use vMix for a lot of time to come. I think vMix is great because a lot of automation is possible. I think it's great because a lot of functionality is built into the system. And as long as it's, well, if it's only TechCondo, I am totally fine with that. And I have to explain that to you. I'm totally fine that for some reason the laptop crashes, or in this case the desktop crashes during my show. I don't like that, but it's for me, even though I'm not getting really paid by to make this show, other than that this is something that I really appreciate the community, and I occasionally get a super chat, which is really cool, but it's not a a paid show, basically. And for that reason, I'm totally fine using vMix. I think it's great. It's also way easy for me. And the reason why it's easy is that it's very much to be automated. At the moment, I have lost the ability for using the stream rack in my studio due to the fact that I'm using it for my 19-inch rack that I just showed earlier on. And because of that, I really already feel that it's less automated and becomes a little bit more of a problem, right? And it's more difficult to just go to other scenes, so to speak, than precompiled. Maybe not so much, but it's definitely there. Hardware, so like the ATEM switcher has a few advantages. The first advantage is that I can actually way easier just divide the load. Here I have to do everything myself. The whole show is done by myself. But if I am doing a show that is live on TV, it's live on Facebook, it's live on YouTube, and there are a lot of people watching, and I do not have everything 100% ironed out because I'm basically registering an event and not producing an event, then it's really difficult to have everything ironed out up front, and so that you know exactly what you did to press A, to press B, or the audio needs to be a little bit changed or something. With the ATEM software, you can actually have somebody dedicate, or sorry, with the ATEM and audio hardware that I have right there, you can have one person dedicated for audio, one person dedicated for switching. You can have one person producing the show. So basically saying, hey, camera A, go to this talent, or camera B, show the audience, and then just switch between the two. So you can divide the workload a little bit more. And on top of that, you have less delay to work with, because if I do this on my screen, I can actually see myself about a second later doing the same thing. That is totally fine for me because I'm the only person that sees it. However, if you're at an event and you're showing off what's happening there as well. So for example, you want to zoom in into the talent, and that person is crying or he's talking or something. You want to have it split second perfect. And that is possible on the ATEM, and that's not possible on vMix. Hope that helps. So you guys are still talking PTZ cameras. We've never used PTZ cams empty. Most of our cams are SDI, ENG types, but the PTZ options are certainly work for a good option. Full NDI PTZ cameras. And indeed, MT says we're using older PTZ 12 times zoom SDI cameras, also HDMI available. Yeah. So I'm also using PTZ cameras during my events, and those are by PTZ Optics. They're 20 times zoom. Like them, not love them, I have to admit. So be careful. I like them. They're doing a great job. They're doing a good job, I have to say. And especially together with the Super Joy, you can have predefined sections. However, really having like a really nice pan and tilt movements, you can do that arguably, but I don't really think that that's a great experience, so to speak. All right, let's move back to and no worries, anytime, I mean. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go back. Okay, so we have the main camera, we have the studio mic, and we have the main PC. Now, I also want to add the layout of the show, or the video of the show as well. So I'm going to go to add input, and I am going to, and I hope that it's already there because that would be easier to do, but it's not. So let's start to browse it. And now I'm browsing on that computer that is behind me. And if everything is well, there is a videos folder. and it's the TechCondos folder. And as you can see, this is exactly what I meant. There are so much different directories. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to make a separate version of this, a folder. It's called TechCondo 22. And that will be the new folder that is more, let's say, minimized. And so that will also make it a little bit more easy to find. Now, because I'm doing that, of course, I need to understand where they are. So I have to get the microphone a little bit closer. Just the fact that otherwise it's in front of me. And oh, here it is. Because I cannot see the whole picture of it. All right, so here you go. And let's see if we can find the leader of this show. And that is in videos, definitely TechCondo. And I would not be surprised if it's here somewhere, but it might also be somewhere else. So let me see what here it is. TechCondo opening 2018. That's the one. So it's already 4 years old. So here comes a question that I had actually. And my question to you is, would you be interested in having a different look and feel for the show moving forward after September? So maybe a different opening, a shorter opening, more dedicated to logo. Might that be something that you're interested in? Let me know. So here you go. So I've now added it there. And I think that if I now put this one in there, so you now see TechCondo 2022 and boom, there you go. So now we have the logo here as well. And as I said, if I press this, it will be showing on the left-hand side as is in preview. And if I then say cut, it will automatically start to play that file. You see that it's way too hot, the audio. So let's give it a little bit less. Right about there, that would be good. And this is actually going very nicely, as you can see. And basically, this is great. However, I'm not touching anything. And now you see that nothing is happening, right? And there's also nothing happening on the screen behind me, even though my picture was frozen a little bit. But that's, again, part of TeamViewer, not on the system itself. But indeed, the video is not doing anything anymore. And that is because vMix does not automatically switch to something else if something is ready. That is something that you need to say to it. So you have to say to vMix that you want it to go from TechCondo to the main camera. That is something that you need to do. So that is one of the things that we want to add, but there are more things that we want to add to make it work. So let's start to build this, and the way that you build that is by a functionality that is called triggers. So in order to do that, you have to go to the TechCondo MP4 file, then click on this cogwheel again, and here on the left hand side you can go down to triggers. If you click on triggers, you see on completion do something, right? Or you have also on transition in, transition out, overlay in, overlay out, and all kinds of other functionalities. What we want to do now is that on completion, I want to do a cut to the main camera. Now, that is something that we can do right here. We can hit cut right there, and then it states it. Now, if you cannot find it because you're all over the place, and there are a lot of features that are available in vMix. This is exactly what I explained to you, is that vMix is a powerhouse if it comes to automation. It's extremely versatile. If you look at building macros or triggers, as they're called. So let's hit cut right here. And we're not going to, well, at the moment we're cutting to preview, which is perfectly fine. However, again, the preview is on the left hand side. However, I want to dedicated to really go to the main camera. So on completion, I want to cut to the main camera. I don't have a delay. It's totally fine. Let's just go and say add. So now this is added to the mix. So now if I now again play let's just make sure that it's all gone here. So let's make sure that nothing is there. Yeah, okay. So now once I'm hitting TechCondo, it starts. Let's just speed it up a little bit to go a little bit to the end. And I'm now not touching anything. And if all is well, boom, there you go. I didn't do anything, and now it's perfectly going to that. However, during the show, during the start of this video, I do not want my audio to be enabled. Now, of course, at the moment there is no audio at all, so what's the point, right? However, just bear with me. I want to make sure that I don't have any audio available to me at that time. So the way that I want to do that is not that difficult. What I can do is that I can go to this cogwheel again, and I can. Oh, didn't I say? Oh, there you go. Sorry, I have to go to this one, of course. I can say on transition in. I can say I want to go to all and say something with audio, because I don't know what it is. I think it's called audio off. Indeed, audio is off. And what audio is off? Well, the one from the studio mic is off. And I'm going to say add. Now, of course, I want to have this one on the transition in. So I want to have it all the way on the top of this unit. But I also want it on the completion. I want to have the audio on again from the studio mic. So I'm going to add that one right there. So now, can I see that? I think that you can see that. No, you cannot see that. Let me see if I can do it like so. Yeah. All right. Can I put something on that? I don't have any audio on that thing. That's a bit of a bummer. I'm thinking about how to get audio on the thing without the microphones. I might be that I can play some music maybe on YouTube in the meantime or something. Let me get that organized. Why am I so dark? Huh? Oh, because of the light there. Oh, that's it. There you go. Okay. So let's just put some music on or something. I don't care which one. Oh, maybe just a show. There you go. Boom. So let's put on the show. And once I have the show right there, I can make sure that that's audio is on. And I can now use the mixer to make sure that let me see if this is working. I need to, of course, to say to it that it needs to go there. So I'll just add just realized that this is Windows 11. I've not tried it there yet. All right. I think that I found it. Choose where to play sound. Okay, so now I can actually show you what I'm looking at. So what I wanted to do is that I wanted to utilize this GoXLR thing. And in order to do that, I want to be able to say that the system audio goes to the GoXLR Mini, but I also want to have the Chrome browser also connected to that. And now I need to figure out how that works on Windows 11. I think that is more sound settings. Nope. Well, you have to believe me. I need to be able to do that, right? Needs to be. It's not that difficult. I will verify that. This is the first time that I'm looking on that on Windows 11. I've not done that before, so sorry for that. And then need to check that at a later stage. All right, but believe me that once that with this option, you can just switch off the audio and switch it on back on if you like. Actually, I can show it to you in a different route. So what I can do, I can add the same video one more time, and just make sure that it's running, and then I'm going to just show you that it's switching it off. That's also an easy way to do it. So let's do that. So let's add it one more time, and if I then just press this one, you will see that it's running. Well, actually, if I do it like so, you see that the audio is yellow. It's a bit bluish, and bluish means that there's no audio. So only when you click on this icon right here, it becomes green, right? So that is green. That's you have audio. Blue is you have no audio. Actually, you can also see it if you look here. You can see that it goes to the master, or does not go to the master. That's basically what you want. What I want you to look at right there. So now what we're gonna do is that we're gonna start this video, and then you have to pay attention to this. I'm gonna purposely switch it on. Oh yeah, and of course I need to change my transition, not to this one, but to the second TechCondo. So I'm going to hit edit, and I'm going to hit TechCondo again, just for the sake of showing you how that works. All right. So let's start things up. So here you go. I'm just going to hit cut. So it's stopped. So it's now not running. You see it's blue, so it's not working at all. And of course it's already, I need to start it again. So it's blue. And once the other one is ready, you will see that it becomes green again. 3, 2, 1, boom, green. That's what I meant. That's the way that it works. There you go. Just another way of doing the same thing. I'm basically quite happy with this already, because now I can start the show without that thing right there, right? But before I move on, let's check if there are any questions or remarks. Mike said it was interesting what I just mentioned to him. Yep, no worries. Are you not going using your DJI Ronin? Yes, of course I will be using that on TV channels. Question, Raul says, I think bringing people to a show with the ATEMs is kind of complicated. With vMix Call, it's really easy. What do you think? I totally 100% agree with you. It is really easy. And I can actually... Well, we can maybe even show it. The only thing is that I don't have a guest for today. But with vMix Call, you can very easily just bring somebody in via a Chrome browser or Safari browser, or even via your phone, and it works. You have communication with each other, and that is really easy to do. Also, the return feed is quite easy to do. There's a little bit of a delay. Now, that delay is not a big problem for me, but that's basically the easiest way of doing that. Hence, again, I am not going to remove vMix from my production suite for the most part. It's just that if I'm local, I want to have everything connected via hardware. MT says, agreed, but personally I don't want to have a Teams PC on NDI network and at the same time on the internet. Yeah, that's definitely a big problem. MT, I totally agree with that. NDI is working great, but you do need to have a very, very good network to make that work. I do happen to have quite a nice network here. But I will never use NDI if I'm on location, due to the fact what MT just mentioned. It makes it way more complicated. As a matter of fact, like I always say, my 19-inch rack is totally autistic. It's totally not on the internet. It's really only looking in its own network, and only the web presenter is going out of to the outside world, the bad world, as I say always, because I don't want to get any problems there. And they're not only problems from the perspective of security, but also from performance and complexity, etc. You just want it to work from the get-go. Like also with the earlier mentioned hardware switchers, you just want to have it work from the get-go and not having to configure a lot of things. In all fairness to you, I am going to use Companion with the 2ME switcher, because I cannot afford the big advanced panel 1ME. However, I have to admit that I really think that it's the best solution for that mixer. So for that switcher, I mean. So it's a bit, it's a bit of a problem there. Mike says, I use vMix call, sometimes Zoom, and sometimes something that I cannot pronounce. Live to the air to bring remote guests into vMix, depending on the guest's computer. Yep. Kevin says, we have used vMix call, Zoom, Skype, etc. just for guests with an ATEM switcher to the show, but you need to run a computer next definitely next to run a computer next to your ATEM and bring the guest through HDMI into SDI. Yes, correct. And with regard to the audio, yeah, Windows 11 is quite a different beast. It's getting to a better place, but I'm sure that the same functionality will be available there as well. It's just a matter of finding where to connect it. Actually, what I wanted to do is to set up that so that Chrome browser is actually routed to the third fader on the Go XLR Mini. That's what I wanted to do. Okay, it's starting to get a little bit along now. Now, I do know that this is definitely not a full-on setup yet, but I also want to take it a little bit slow so that people that are looking into this video at the later stage actually understand what is going on without the need of having to go all in at the starting point, right? So we might want to revisit a little bit later. I'm also quite aware of your time, so let's move on still for about 10 minutes or so, see how far we can get, and once the hour is over, let's quit for today, and we can always go back to it maybe in a couple of weeks. I will keep it as is, so there will be a part 2 at that time. And we need to talk about the coming 2 shows, because I do have some ideas that might be of interest to you. So next up, let's create a pip, right? A picture-in-picture. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make it as easy as I can at the moment. Also, for the fact that I want you to see what the possibilities are, without having, for example, Photoshop. Because if I show you this right here, this is a Photoshop file where the box on my what is it? Right hand side there is actually a cutout PNG file, and behind that you can bring a additional input to the mix. However, that will mean that you need to have a Photoshop enabled, and not everybody has that. And for the sake of time and for the sake of making it as easy as possible for everybody, I'm going to do it a little bit differently today. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to add an input, and I'm going to add an input of the form which is called color. And with color, you can start to change the color to whatever color you like. If you want to do, for example, a little bit purplish, you can do that just well. And then you see a purple backdrop. Might be cool for you, might be. But for me, I don't really like that. I actually want to do something else. So in order to do something else, I want to add first a backdrop. And I just finalized a new backdrop that I'm actually using for my show. However, I need to verify where I can find that. So let's go ahead and go into my current show setup to see if I can find where that backdrop is situated. Oh, I'm still using the old one here. Oh, no. We're not going to use the old one. I have a new one. So let's go ahead and another thing that you need to do is that I happen to have both iCloud and OneDrive. So I'm using Microsoft Word, Excel, etc. That's where I'm using OneDrive for, and I'm also a Mac user. Because of that, I'm also using iCloud, and on my OneDrive, I actually have a assets folder, and in the assets folder, I have a lot of functionality ready to go from the get-go. One of them is a gradient of the year 2022, so I'm just copying it there, and I need to do it of course on the system. I'm using my computer here. Let me go to the, where is it? Ah, there it is. Oh, there you go. Let me make sure that there's no personal data for you guys to see before I show my screen. I think that I'm actually quite happy with. Nah. Let's do it a little bit differently. If that's okay with you guys, I'd rather just get it and figure out where it is. Where is it? I saw it on the other computer, so it must be here somewhere. Oh, here, the assets folder. There you go. There you go. And now I'm looking for the gradient. Okay, I hit copy, and then I'm going to show you the screen. So then I'm back on the drive here. There you go. So let's put it into the TechCondo 2022. So we only have this one, and we only have this gradient right here. This gradient I've created myself, and what I've basically done is that I've added 3 gradients in Photoshop, one from left to right, one from diagonally, all to make it a little bit more interesting to look at. And this gradient of 2022 will be added to the mix like so. So you can also drag and drop a file. You don't have to really look into the directory every time. So this is the gradient. So I'm gonna just rename that to background, because, well, basically that's what it is. So TC, as in TechCondo, background. Wow. And that is basically the background. Now I want to make it a little bit more interesting to watch. And We could start by having one that is looking at the PC, and also like you see here in front of me on the left hand side of your screen, you can see myself very easily there. So let's go ahead and make that work. So the way to do that, again, yeah, you can feel it already. Go to your cogwheel, and there you will find the layers multi-view. And here you have the possibility to add a layered structure just like in Photoshop. And I want to start always with my main camera. This is the camera that you have been watching the show already. And basically what I want to do is that I want to change the size of it a little bit, like so. I want to crop my X and Y axis like so, and maybe zoom a little bit back. I like that, to be honest. And then just change the X position to, for example, right here. Now, even though this is quite nice already, I actually do like to have a little bit of a border. So let's give it a border of, I don't know, 10 pixels or something, white, and that makes it a little bit more nice to look at. Now, next up is that you want to add, for example, a second one, and that is you go back to layers, and you're gonna add the main PC right there. Boom. Now the main PC is obviously full screen at the moment, so we then need to change that again to zoom it out like so, and you see that it's actually in front of in front of my main camera. If you want to change that, that is possible, but then you need to go to your layers, and you then need to change the sequence here a little bit to make this 2 1 and this 2. Now, unfortunately, you cannot just pick and choose this. I think that's not possible. Oh, it is possible. Nice. I learn every time. And then you zoom. Well, I'm at the wrong layer, so let's go back to the main PC. Now let's make it a little bit bigger because this is more important. Move it to the right. Maybe even zoom a little bit more because it's really important to me. And then I can just hit the border again and give it 10 or 15 because it's a little bit bigger. I don't like that. 10 it will be. There you go. Now you have a very nice setup. And if you then go this route, and now you might want to know how I do this this merge effect. Well, that's actually very simple. If I show you this round here, and I hit here merge, you will see that it makes a nice animation without any work on it as well, like so. Now, of course, it's now named TC background. Maybe we should change that to pip, as in picture in picture, with the main PC. Oops, main PC. There you go. So now we have this, now we have that, and we have that. Well, nice. What I can do now is that I can add the logo as well, the TechCondo logo, and put it as a bug right here. I don't do that in my show at the moment, but just for the sake of showing how things work, let's do that as well. Of course, also here I have to go to my assets folder. And I just want to make sure that there are some personal data there that I cannot show you. So that's the reason why I am a little bit hesitant to show it. It's not personal, but it is for clients, and I don't want to get into trouble. So that's the reason why I'm a little bit hesitant. All right, I have found it. I'm hitting the copy icon, and I can then go back to the videos folder on my PC. So let's go back. You can see it again. And I will then, after this, we'll check if there are some questions, and I will also then wrap up after the questions. Videos, TechCondo 2022. I'm gonna add or paste, the logo. Boom, my TechCondo logo is right there, and I'm gonna add it right here. Now, it is extremely big, of course, because if I would put this one in front of everything else, well, how can you do that? Well, let's go back to this screen right here. So on the right hand side, you see the program out. If I hit, for example, 1, 2, 3, or 4, then you will see that the logo will be in front of the unit. Well, this is quite nice, and it's actually also a sequence. So 1 is below 2, is below 3, is below 4. So 4 is the upper layer, 1 is the lower layer right there. So even though this is really great, I do want to change that a little bit. So now you might think that you can do this, right? No. It's a bit of a bummer. That's not possible. So what we need to do again is to want to add an input. And then I'm going to go to color again. But this time around, I'm going to hit transparent. And I'm going to hit OK. And, well, we can change the sequence if we like, but I like it this way. But I'm going to change this to change it to logo bug, as in the logo bug that's on the right hand side. I'm gonna hit layers, I'm gonna hit the logo again, and now I'm gonna hit edit, and I'm gonna change this change the zoom a little bit, like so, pan it to the right. But now I'm doing it with these sliders, right? But I can also just grab it like so and put it right there. Maybe a little bit smaller. Doesn't have to be very big. I'm starting to like it right there. Let's put it right there, and then hit 1. Boom. So now we have the logo on the top right hand position all the time. Well, I think that looking at the time, this is all that I can demo today. However, we can continue that if you guys are really liking this kind of content. So please go ahead and say yes, more vMix in the comments. So more vMix, and I will be adding more information on vMix and how you can use it. In the meantime, let's see if there are any questions. I will make some time for questions and answers in the show as well. So please go ahead, and if there are any questions, let's talk about those. Hey, I see Roland is in the house, also from Zurich. Great of you to be here. Bill says, I'm not an OBS expert, but vMix looks like an easier to use, more robust and better than OBS. If it's better than OBS, I do not know, to be honest, but definitely easier to use. Although I do have to admit that if you use vMix for the first time, it can be quite daunting. But the same thing goes for OBS anyway. OBS is really great for very simple functionalities. It's also for free. However, vMix you do need to pay for. However, you can have a €60 version of vMix that allows you to have 4 inputs and outputs, and that might be good enough for the starting point of your video career. But the one that I recommend to most people is the vMix HD. That is a €350 investment or dollar investment, and that allows you to have a full license. It is perpetual, and you also have, at the very least, 1 year of support of vMix. Typically, I see at the last 6 years or so that typically you have 2 years support. But don't shoot me if that's not the case. But the first year, the first time is €350 or dollars, and after that, no matter what edition you have to pay €60 a year, and that's all you need to pay. So after the first year, it's just €60 investment. to keep the support running. That's quite inexpensive for what you'll get. Also looking at vMix Call, which is of course a service that is using a web service interface as well. So there is more to it than only the software. So that is something that you might want to have a look into it. There's also a subscription based on vMix. It's about also 50, 60 euros per month. Then you have the whole shebang. You have the big system that typically costs, and now I'm really saying it out of the top of my head, but 1,200 euros or something. It's quite expensive. Yeah, if you want to, for example, use it together with PTZ cameras, then you at least need to have the 4K edition, which is $700. If you want to not only have four streams for the what is it again? What was the name again? Replay. Yeah, replay. That's it. So if you want to have four streams for replay, then the 4K version will do. But if you want to have 8 videos that you can, 8 inputs that you want to perform replay on, then you need to buy the more expensive one. All right. And to say, I will agree, in OBS you have to do mostly all of it yourself with all of the traps. Indeed, from the perspective, is indeed a better choice, and especially a better choice because you can automate the hell of it, which is great. Go Web Technologies, namaste. Really appreciate you for being here. Raul says, I want to buy some overlays, but I just find for Twist that is more for gaming. I want something more professional. Do you know where I can find some of them? Yes, Raul, I know. Well, there are multiple options there. I think that you know David Foster, right? Maybe you can have a look at if he has a set of overlays available to you. Otherwise, let's hook up to see. Maybe we can have we can do that. Yes, let's do that. Let's make some overlays that are professional together in one of the shows. What do you think about that? Would you like to see that? So then I'll just make maybe 1 or 2 overlays that you can use for your show and also other people as well. It will be free of charge. On TV channel says great show. Thank you very much. Had vMix since version 13. Great product, very, very flexible. Yes, and I think that Martin and Tim are really kicking it. Yes, more vMix. Okay, more vMix. Okay. On TV it says 8 replays are pro, but only 1 on 4K. Only 1? No. That's not true. Nah, is it true? Oh, I cannot show that because I'm using the pro version. I'm using the big version. Unfortunately, David Foster on YouTube. Indeed, there you go. The real LSP. Yep, that's the one that you can do. Indeed. Yeah, look at him. He might have something there. Otherwise, we can also build something ourselves if you like. Anywho, that's all I have time for today. I think that we did a nice show together. I would state that we built a nice show already. We have a leader. We have a logo. We have the possibility to have a pip. We don't have audio, but that's something that we can work on at a later stage. And we have a main camera that is working behind me. I'm going to prove it to you. Look at that. It's working, but not on the Team Center. Team Viewer setup right there. But that's the way it is, right? Anyway, that's all that I had time for today. I hope that you liked it. I really, really liked to do this. vMix for Mac will not happen anytime soon, Gerard. However, I have seen vMix running on a Mac, on an M1 system. Maybe we should also have a video on that one. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Every Saturday at the same time I'm live. I have 2 video ideas that I have in front of me. The first video idea is that I want to do a show fully remote, so using the LiveView Solo and basically being in my dad's garden, for example, with all the graphics, etc., so that you have a feeling that is it possible to run a show in the garden of my dad's house. Then if you want to see that, then let me know. Just say garden yes. That's the first one that I have in mind, and I can do that as soon as it's good weather. And I think that looking at the current weather predictions for the Saturday, it's going to be 28 degrees and it's going to be sunny. So that would be very interesting to do that maybe next Saturday. And I also had a second idea, and that's talking about comms and telly lights. And that will be a separate video for you as well, if you would like to talk about that. We're going to the garden, it seems. Okay, cool. And Stanley, no worries, man. Every time. And the same thing goes for Billy as well. I still see that my cat Kermit is still lying around here. He's still at the same place. He's really enjoying himself. However, it is time to open up the door and let the little one come into play. Today he was jumping really high on top of the shower glass. So I have this shower cabin, and it's all made of glass, and he was just jumping up on the glass, and it's really, really high. I'm talking about, sorry for the US people, about 75 centimeters or so. So it's quite a big jump, and he just did it. I don't know. That kitten is totally bit of a handful, I could tell you. GoWeb Technology sent. Sorry. Can you go live on your vMix setup someday? Yes. I mean, live view. Yes. So that was the idea for maybe next week, so that we have a mobile TechCondo show from the garden of my dad. I can then show you what the gear is that I'm using. It's going to be minimalistic, so I like to keep it short and sweet at that time, but let me know if you want. Additional gear sounds great. There you go. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a fantastic weekend, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.